Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan Rice. On this episode, we are going to install this. If you hear any background noise, that's the rain coming down. We're actually going through a tropical storm right now in the Charleston, South Carolina area. So hopefully I can do some work with the audio and eliminate some of that rain pounding down on the roof. But what this is a replacement to your actual bump stop on your vehicle. It helps eliminate sag when you hook up a trailer. It helps eliminate sag when you put cargo in the bed of your truck. And I like to shoot videos that helps anything for us in the kayak community as far as accessories on vehicles or any of that stuff. So that's why we're shooting a video to install this. I put these on all of my vehicles. This is called the Sumo Spring. It's made by Sumo Springs International, and it's basically a polyurethane or a microcellular polyurethane progressive spring that as you compress this, the stiffer it gets. They have different versions of this. This is the 40 number, which is a lighter version. This is rated for 1,000 pounds at 50% compressed. Normally I do the number 47, which is rated at 1,500 pounds, but I don't usually carry a lot in my bed. This is only when I, hook up the trailer and do towing with the trailer. So it helps the sag of the vehicle, not blind people, with your headlights, with your truck being like this, and being that the Chevy 1500, this is what we're installing this on, already has a softer suspension because half-ton vehicles today are made for more daily driving than they are really as a work truck. But they can still do a lot, but you have to do some upgrades to make it to be where it needs to be. So we're going to hook up the trailer. We're going to measure the squat. Then we're going to install these, and then we're going to do it again and measure the squat again to see the difference that this makes. This is not going to be as strong as the number 47, but it's still going to be something. So before hooking up the trailer, we have a measurement of about 38 inches. So we're going to hook the trailer up now and see how much it squats. So let's see. We have a squat. We are at 36 3/4. So we have a squat of 1.25 inches, which is not a lot, but still enough to keep my headlights kind of up in the air. And we want to eliminate that. Plus these springs, if that's what you want to call them, help eliminate any sway, body roll, and it helps eliminate that. So it's for a better towing experience along the way as well. We don't need to put an anti-sway or a weight distribution hitch on this trailer. It's tows very well now, and it's not really heavy enough for a weight distribution hitch. That's why we're going with the Sumo Springs instead of going that option. So it's a cheaper option. It's a cheaper option over airbags. You can, drill holes in these. You can stick knives in them, and they still work with no maintenance whatsoever. So it's basically a lifetime fix to your vehicle suspension. So now we're going to install these. I will show you how we do that very easily. Then we will show you the difference in squat. So to change out your bump stops, it's pretty easy. It's easier on a lift. All you got to do is chock your front tires and lift up the back. We have the option of using a forklift just to pick up on the hitch. Make sure you chock your front tires just to get enough room so you can get in between your wheel well. But you can see down in here, we'll try to show you the existing bump stops right here. It requires a 10mm socket just to take the bolt out of the middle. So you just need to put an extension on the socket. It's 10mm to remove this. We're going to remove these bump stops and install the new ones. So you can see how easy that was to remove this, and you can see the difference between the two springs or your bump stops. Now these come with a spacer, a 1-inch spacer, which we're actually going to install to make it actually taller. So this way it hits the spring faster, engages the spring faster when I put that trailer on the back hitch of my truck. So it may be a little bit of a harsher ride when I hit some bumps, but I don't want to leave this gap because I actually want to have that 1-inch in between to help the sag. That's why I went with the 40 number option. So it's a little bit of a softer spring. So it still leaves me that stock factory feel to the ride and not so harsh. Now, if I was going to load my truck all the time, like have the deck drawer system in the back with a bunch of gear, I would get the 47 number, which is black, for the Chevy 1500, which we're installing these on. So we decided this time, this is the first time we actually went with the lighter spring, but I think we're going to be happy with the outcome. They give you two different size bolts, one shorter if you don't use a spacer and one longer, and they give you the supplied Loctite to put a little bit on the threads. This requires a 17 millimeter to put this new spring back on the truck itself. So we're just going to work this bolt down inside, let it pop out a bit. Put our flat metal washer and then our 1-inch spacer. You know, if you use a spacer, you just got to get that bolt through all three pieces. If you don't use a spacer, you still got to use that metal washer at the top. But just apply a little bit of Loctite that they supply you to the threads. It just helps it eliminate coming loose from the vibration as you're driving down the road. And we're going to screw this on, do the same thing to the other side. Then we'll measure the difference in sag and show you the difference. So you can see that wasn't hard to do. You just got to torque these down with a torque wrench to 30 foot-pounds is what they suggest. We're going to do the other side now. Then we'll see what the difference is once we apply the weight from the trailer. So with the spacer in, you can see it's right on top of where the bump stops usually hit from the truck. That's why I went with the softer springs. This way they engage right away, but it'll still give us a quality ride, being it's the number 40 instead of the 47. But we want to have as much engagement as possible, being these Chevy suspensions are a little softer than all of my other previous vehicles. You can see how cool it actually looks, and the install is extremely fast. All right, we're gonna hook the trailer back up, measure squat for you, and let's see what it does. So before we were at 38, before we put the trailer on it, then 36 3/4 after. Now we're at 38 inches. All right, guys, I wanted to conclude this video after I actually did a test ride with it so I can give you my honest opinion of this particular setup. I've had the Sumo Springs on every vehicle I've owned, and it's been about 15 trucks in 21 years. So I've changed trucks quite a bit. This one I'm keeping for at least 4 years, which I just want to bring up that save your initial bump stops from your truck, because right now the part number for the Chevy 1500 is good from 2019, the present vehicles. Not unless the manufacturer does a significant frame change, you can take these off and put them on another newer model a lot of times and they'll still fit. But just check the website and they'll let you know if those will still work for the newer vehicle that you do purchase. I've had so many trucks through the years and I've added this to every vehicle. Most of the time the ride quality did stiffen significant, but it wasn't horrible. On the Chevy, they are a softer suspension to begin with, so having the number 40 density on the vehicle with it hitting right on the axle, it's a perfect mix of feel. I have no body roll, because a lot of times I'd take turns and the truck would do a lot of roll because of the softer suspension, because half tons are made now for daily driving instead of being a truck. When I take off too, if I get a little bit more gas, I don't have the pushback on the truck. It's keeping it more stable, more level. So the quality of ride is actually better than stock. And that's the first time that's ever happened to me on any of my half-ton vehicles. I feel like I have a truck now again. I feel like I have a suspension. It's not so soft. So it was a perfect blend getting the number 40s. If you have a deck drawer system or you're always carrying weight in the back of the truck, I would definitely step up to the 47 if you're on average maybe carrying 500 plus pounds all the time. But if you're under that, stick with the 40s. I think you'll be extremely happy. But this is probably the best ride quality I've had after adding the Sumo Springs. It was never horrible in the past. I just felt a lot more bounce and it was a little bit more stiffer. This is stiffened up, but not to the point where it ruined the ride. It's perfect. It's the perfect balance right there. I have that set up right now and I'm extremely happy with it. Overall, these are the better option over airbags because there's no maintenance. The cost of them are a lot cheaper, more than half the cost of airbags. You can do
anything to these springs and they will last you for life. Now she cut them in half, but you can jab them with nails. You can put screws in them. There's videos out there that people do that, and it doesn't change the spring itself at all. So I'm going to leave a link in the description of this video. I want to keep this short. The install literally took me 5 minutes per side. It probably took me longer to clean the grease off my hands than it did to actually install the springs on this. It's simple as unscrewing your bump stops and installing these Sumo Springs in place of them. So I'll leave the link in the description. You will be extremely happy with the setup the way I showed you today with the number 40, the blue colored Sumo Springs for the Chevy 1500. So as always, guys, I hope this helps you if you carry a lot of weight in your truck, whether it's fishing equipment, tools, etc. And it helps you make a better decision in upgrading your suspension on your half-ton truck. So as always, guys, I really appreciate all of you. Hit that thumbs up, leave a comment if you have a question. I can be reached across all my social medias if you want to reach out to me that way as well. And I'll answer any questions you have. So as always, be safe on the water, and I'll catch you guys on the water. See you soon.